Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 291. Do the hard job. Do the hard job. So this is Catholic Dad. I'm a physician. I work really long hours. I have a highly specialized job. I'm a radiologist, and it's difficult, and that's all I want to say. It's difficult. Am I up to the challenge? Absolutely, I'm up to the challenge. Of course I am. That's what I did the training for. Well, anyway, this week in medicine, but I don't know if anybody knows this, by the way. There's a lot of changes in medicine virtually constantly, and change nobody likes. Everybody thinks change is bad, and physicians are suffering the highest rates of burnout in the history of mankind. Physicians are mad. They're leaving they're leaving medicine. They're going to other industries, and they're not doing it reluctantly. They're swearing and they're yelling, they're complaining and they're pouting, and so on and so forth. And I must say, I disrespect these people. I don't like them. I think they're trying to destroy the noble profession of medicine through their negativity and through their dotiness, essentially. And this applies to medicine, and this also applies to every other job on planet Earth. So let's go back to the Garden of Eden, by the way. So Adam and Eve are there. They're our ancestors, just to let you know. And what do? They're disobedient to God. Essentially, they say, we're not going to follow you, okay? We're going to follow ourselves. What happens? They get kicked out of the Garden of Eden. What are their punishments? Eve gets hers, and then what does Adam get? Well, you got to toil the earth through blood, sweat, and tears, and it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard. That's essentially the punishment he got for eating from the tree of knowledge and watching Eve eat from the tree of knowledge. Well, anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm a radiologist. I have a hard, difficult job. I'm doing my job through sweat and tears and blood, and it's difficult. But is it that difficult? No, not really. I mean, I live a privileged life. I'm a physician. I have 9 children. I'm able to pay for them and eat and heat my house. That's good enough. I don't need anything else. And so when I hear physicians complain, literally, it sounds like immature little babies crying and whining. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm like, literally, did you not realize you signed up for a hard, difficult job? Like, why are you whining and crying about administrators aren't nice to me? Oh, this cut is making me crazy. Or oh, why are they doing this? And this, so on and so forth. It's just constant complaints in medicine these days. And I just want to say, listen, if you don't like it, leave, because I don't need the negativity. I don't need you to be here trying to drag me down, because you know what? I'm doing kind of a divine job. Like, I take care of people in their most vulnerable hours, when they're dying and they're suffering and they're getting the worst news of their lives, when I'm like doing biopsies and sticking needles in their lung and so on and so forth. I get to hold their hand in their most vulnerable hours. I get to tell them it's going to be okay. Like, literally, how many people have that job? I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, like, I couldn't even imagine a better job than that. And yet I hear people complaining all day long. And by the way, I want to talk to the older physicians out there. And you know who you are. You're the physicians with all the affluence, because you've lived in this like privileged life your entire life, right? Or your entire professional career. And you've saved up a lot of money, and you have a lot of money, and you have no risk left. You essentially, you can tell the world to go to heck, and you have enough money to survive upon. And yet you do that, and do you affect change with that? Or do you sit there and stick your middle fingers up to the administrators and the corporates and everybody else that's trying to control your life and just walk away? And then you leave that system to me, a younger physician, right? So those middle fingers, you think they're like bold actions. You think they're like when you sit there and you yell and scream at the system itself, you think that's boldness and like heroicism. I think they're white flags of surrender, because you have the least risk out of anybody, because you're financially capable at this point in time. You have no risk. And when you do that and you stick your middle fingers up, what do? Essentially, you say, I no longer want anything to do with you, and I walk away. And I call that retreating, okay? So you put your white flag up, that's your middle finger, and then you retreat and you don't do the hard, difficult task anymore. And then you leave it to me, the younger physician who has to deal with the new system. You, the older physician, the wise physician, the financially solvent physician, whatever it is, You are the warriors we need. You're the warriors we need to go walk into this world and affect change, not in a horrible way, not like sticking your middle fingers up and screaming and yelling, but doing it like in a righteous way, strong way, like I'll be straightforward and changing the world that way. Well, this is true in every job, by the way, just to let you know. Everybody out there doesn't like their job for the most part. They'd prefer to not be doing it. They'd rather be sitting on a beach, drinking ouzo and eating olives out of a martini or whatever it is. Well, too bad. You know what? Adam and Eve existed. We have a fallen nature and now we have to labor. That's kind of the point of our entire lives. And because we labor, we get to feed our children, educate them, clothe them, house them. And then if we have any excess left because we've worked hard, we get to help out our fellow man. Isn't that a wonderful thing? So I'm going to tell you something, by the way. If you have a hard task in front of you, you know what that hard task means? It means it's worth it. Okay? It means it's going to give you meaning in your life. It means you're going to pick up responsibility, you're going to put it on your shoulder, and you're going to carry a load that other people aren't able to do. And if you do that consistently, time and time and time again, and you pick that load up and you smile when you're doing it, you know what's going to happen? You're going to become rich, affluent, and you're going to have a lot of influence in this world, and you're going to be able to change hard, difficult systems that are oppressing your fellow man. That's what you're going to be able to do. And I'll tell you what, honestly, difficulty is something that you need to love. You don't walk toward the comfort, you walk toward the hard. You walk toward the difficult. You walk toward the fire. So if you're at a job and somebody says, hey, do you want to count these pennies over here, or do you want to clean these toilets with a toothbrush? What you do is this. You say, anybody can count the pennies, but I'm damn good at what I do. I'm going to scrub the toilets with a toothbrush. I'm going to do it better than anybody's ever done it before. And then when you're scrubbing the toilets, you're sitting there and the boss walks in and says, hey, what are you doing? You say, I'm scrubbing the toilets, sir, or ma'am, by the way, and I'm going to do the best dang job you've ever seen. You're going to be able to eat off these toilets. That's what I'm doing. And you know what's going to happen to you? You're going to get promoted. Okay, people are going to realize you have joy in your life, you have hope in your life, you have positivity in your life, and you have industriousness, meaning you work hard. If you do all those things, you're going to rise, and you're going to become stronger, and you're going to become stronger, and you're going to become stronger. And when you get stronger, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get influence, you're going to get power, and you're going to be able to affect change in the world. And oh, by the way, when you have all this change that you can affect in the world, you're going to have excess resources. And then you're a Catholic, right? And what do you do with your excess resources? You give them away. It's called charity, people. You take your excess resources and you give them away. So I'll tell you what. When I hear somebody say a job's hard, I say, you're pathetic. It's not, because the job's hard just to you. Get out of my way. I'll do it. Okay? I'll do it way better than you can do it. Well, now you have competition, and that should inspire you, honestly. If you think you're good, well, try to do better than me, because I tell you what, you can, okay? And I'm not doing that to be a megalomaniac. I'm doing that because I'm showing you what confidence looks like. If you have a hard, difficult job, you work at McDonald's, I'm going to work the grill all day because that's the hardest job in here. I'm going to clean the bathrooms all day because that's the hardest job in here. I'll tell you what, if you're the CEO of a bank, you know what you do? You do the hard, difficulty equations, but then you go down and you do the hard, difficult tasks of taking care of your fellow man and your fellow worker. That's what you do. Like, you become a leader. You become an industry leader. That's what you do. And so, anyway, if you hear people complaining at work, you can do one of two things. You can say, oh, I'm so sorry for you. Oh, or you can punch them in the face and say, toughen up. Okay, because I'll tell you what, when I hear people complain, I want to slap them. That's what I want to do. And I'll tell you what, you want to do it too. And you know that. You may be one of those complainers. Don't do it anymore. Become positive, become strong. And you know what happens when you become positive and strong? You make everybody more positive and more strong. And then that system lifts up. You know, a rising tide, it raises all boats. You raise that tide, and then all the boats are higher. They're stronger. They're more able to deal with the world. That's what happens. And so, I'm an employer. I'm a physician. I'm kind of a community leader at this point in time. I've been doing this for a lot of years now. And I'll tell you what, I will not shirk my duties. I will not walk away from difficulty. I will not give up on my fellow man. And you shouldn't either. And so I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart. If you want to become great, do the hard thing, do the difficult thing, and then become great. That's what you do. And so, well, anyway, this is Catholic Dad making you think about. Please like or subscribe, get the Mass, pray the daily rosary, and do the hard thing. And oh, by the way, if you want to know something, prayer is hard, penance is hard, Mass is hard. Do that too. God bless you all. It will give you meaning.